Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Oh, yeah. Accidental. But it worked. What's going on, y'all? How's everybody doing today? What up, yo? Oh man, Mo, you done passed off your little bug to Toronto. I don't know if there's ever a good time to get sick. Yeah. I don't know if there's ever a good time to get sick, but what I will say is you're doing the right thing, getting you a little rest, getting some little lemon, some hot water and lemon, maybe a little honey, some agave. Lemon is a natural detoxer, so it'll help detox a little bit, but hey man, get well soon. Do what you need to do. Self-care is the best care. What up, Kay? What's good, boo? D-Rob in the building. What's good, Mo? Yeah, I'm tired, boss. Tired. Yeah, I feel you. I think it's something in the air right now. Either people are coming down with something or people are overworked, starting the year out. It's not a good thing. So, welcome to Morning Motivation, where we build community, expand our thoughts, and get our day started on the right foot. I'm your host, Jamon, and I'm so excited for you to be here. And so as you're coming on in the door, go ahead and hit that like button. Show us some love. Let us know that you appreciate the show and what's going on in here. Also, today is a continuation of what we started yesterday, talking about how to, once you get past the therapy, once you get past the coaching, and once you learn from your mistakes, what do you do next? What do you do next? What does the next thing look like? Because most people get stuck in that next journey, in that next phase, because that's where the hard work comes in at. And today we're going to talk about some of those things. We're going to talk about identifying your fears. And there's 4 fears. But before we dig into those 4 fears, I want to start with a little story. And, you know, I say that comfort zones are traps, because they get you to a place where you're feeling good and you really don't want to leave it. And so you'll do whatever it takes to hold on to that zone of comfort. But then, comfort zones are great. They really are. We all want to be comfortable. But nothing in life stays the same. And so sometimes comfort zones are challenged, the boundaries are tested, and sometimes they're broken up. And then transition happens. And when transition happens, this is the thing that gives most people the biggest and most challenge. What do you do now? This unexpected thing has happened. And I don't necessarily have to do something, but if I don't do something, it's going to change my life. or I'm gonna get stuck if I don't make a move now. So the question is always, what do you do when you feel like you need to do something, but you're just not sure what that something is? I like to call that a time of transition. A time of transition. And for me, when I think of one of the most complicated times in my life, it was when I was working a job. I was living in Alabama at the time. And I would say I was probably, I think I just turned 30, 31, 32 time frame. And I was in this job. It was a good job. I was a logistics manager for Ryder, the old trucking company. And as a logistics manager, I was over the central region of Alabama. So I was controlling 7 workstations, 7 work centers that I managed inventory for. I did their, not procurement. Yeah, well, I did some procurement. Logistics stuff, routing, ordering, and making sure they had the supplies they needed. We worked for a Bell South company, Marbell, for those of you who know who Marbell is. And life was good. I was comfortable. I had a routine. I had a standard, my check was standard and it was good money. I got extra mileage for driving my car to these different work centers. Life was good. I made good money. And then inevitably something happened. Transition came. And so now they are changing up, they're restructuring the company. And now they're putting these, for lack of a better word, these go-betweens, where instead of now me controlling 7 areas, I now control 1 physical area, but I control everything else through automation. So it didn't require me to leave anymore. Didn't require me to drive. Inventory was automatic refill. When something got low, boom, just hit the buttons and they go. That took away money from my check. But also, my job got downgraded to where I lost about $25,000, $30,000 a year. They were streamlining. And so I went from a very comfortable position to a very uncomfortable position. Now here's the kicker. My supervisor came to me and said, hey man, you've been here for a few years. We love the way you work. We love the way you get along with the clients. And so we want to ask you if you want to come to not necessarily the C-suite, but the level before C-suite. Now, this job would have required me to be gone from home a little bit more. This job would have also required me, it would have made me much more, but I would have probably got a $30,000 a year raise. So, but the cost is me going a lot more. I'm going to be gone a lot more because now I'm a regional person. Instead of being the district, I'm now region. I'm covering probably 3 or 4 states. Normally, I would have accepted that offer. But the reason I didn't accept the offer was because this is the same time my son had told me he didn't want me to be his dad anymore. And so I'm doing everything possible to stay close to home to fix the problems that I had created in my own life. So I thought what I was making was the smart decision, and I declined the opportunity. My supervisor came and he says, "Are you sure?" He said, "It's some changes happening, man. They don't look good. I don't know what they are, but you might be affected. You might not. It's no guarantees. You sure you want to turn this down?" He said, "I done vouched for you, so if you want it, just let me know." I'm just like, man, family first, right? And then what we always say, family first. And then we always say, family first. Yeah. And so I declined the job. And then about a month and a half later, the news comes out that, yeah, my career Oh man, I made a bad decision as far as financial, because I was trying to stay in this pocket, right, this comfort zone of what I knew was stable. I know when I'm on the road, I control my schedule here. I can be home with my children, home with my wife, build my family because family is important. Yeah, the job will definitely let me go. As you just saw, it kind of did. Now, hearing that part of the story, have you ever been through a transition that you had to make a tough decision? One you thought was for the greater good, but it cost you. Have you had to make a decision that you thought was for the greater good, but it cost you and it forced you into an untimely transition? Or am I the only one? I can't be the only one. D. Robson is currently going through the biggest transition of my life. Wow. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. And transition never really comes at the most opportune time. That chick yo says, yep, been there. So the question is, what do you do? What do you do when you are forced into an untimely transition? Now, you may have known that something was on the horizon, but when is a great time to have an accident? Never. Because you're always going somewhere, you're always doing something, and an accident is going to delay you by at least an hour. Wait for the police to come out, take a report. It's just going to throw your whole day off. So there's never a good time to have an accident, and there's never really a good time to go through an untimely transition. I feel you, my dog. I feel you. And so the problem with this transition period is now it puts us to the test. It tests everything we thought we believed, and now we got to act. We got to jump into action. And the problem with jumping into action, well, let's see if we can turn that around. Let's see if we can turn that around. All right. So let's look at it from this perspective. Everything is calm, everything is cool. You've accomplished some things, you've gotten to where you are in life, and now the bottom falls out. Something changes dramatically, and now you're forced to make a move. The things that we're forced to do, we typically do, whether we want to or not, because we don't really have much choice. Either sink or swim, right? Either sink or swim. The problems come in is when we know we need to do a thing, but it's inconvenient, or we're in our feelings. The thing that pops up most times is fear. There are 4 fears. Can anybody name me those 4 fears? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? The fear of, the fear of, the fear of, the fear of. Can anybody name me those 4 fears? And we hear about them all the time. But there's a 4th one that a lot of people forget. And this is the one that kind of hamstrings most of us. It's the thing that hamstrings most of us. One of them is the fear of rejection. And it's why y'all answering that question. the the first thing you want to do, the first thing you want to do is identify your fears. In that moment when you have that feeling of anxiousness, insecurity, identify what it is. Identify what it is. What's this feeling? Why am I feeling this way? What's keeping me from moving? What's keeping me from going? Am I afraid of failure? Am I afraid of rejection? Am I afraid of success? Or am I afraid of uncertainty? And if you really go back and look at your attachment style, it'll be really obvious what it is. But understanding the root cause of your fear is the first step toward getting past that hurdle, getting past it. Now, granted, there are some things that just come out of left field that we have no control over, and we just got to ride the wave until it hits the shore. But that's when you double down in your friendships, in your support circles, in your faith, in your prayer life, and you hold on to whatever it is you can hold on to get through it. But most times, it's the everyday life, the everyday transitional things that keep us stuck because it's uncomfortable, because we don't want to tell somebody no. Just go back and look at your attachment styles. It'll inform you. Mine, we know, is dismissive, avoidant. And because of I'm a dismissive avoidant, I said yesterday, I tend to be a lone wolf. I tend not to surround myself with people. I tend not to put my trust in people. And so when I go through transition, I tend to stay in transition longer and I suffer longer because I've been taught that I can't trust. And so I don't really lean on people too much. And because of that, I stunt a lot of my own growth. And so when transition happens, I'm the one who very rarely will reach out to anybody. I won't tell my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother. Heck, I barely tell my wife stuff today. I'm getting better at it. However, but we're going to talk about those four fears. And I want to break it up a little bit because I know there's a lot happening. And so what I want to do is I want to bring in, I should have done this a little sooner, but I want to bring in a little video aid, a little video help. Just to, although, but I don't know what's going to pop up. So let me just minimize all of it. I got 3 different projects going on right now, and I don't need the wrong one popping up on screens. Yeah. All right. Let's go with this one. My girl Valerie. If it'll show right, what are we doing? That's the one I want. All right. Yep. Y'all don't hear. Give me 1 second on that. I knew it was gonna do that this morning. What's that old saying? If you don't use it, you lose it. Yeah, that's what's been kind of happening over here. Hadn't done one in a while. All right, we should be good now. Let's see.
Is almost.
Yep, there we go. All right, sorry about that, y'all. Do do.
Getting unstuck is almost always about overcoming your fear, and there are four core fears. Do you know what yours is? And when I wrote Brave Enough to Succeed, which was originally called Get Unstuck, Be Unstoppable, I share these four core fears because most of us have a fear that is dominant. It shows up whether it's in our relationships or how we handle decisions in our career, how we might get stuck when it comes to our health and wellness goals, or even our issues around money, emotional spending, and things like that. So here are the four core fears, and I'm wondering if one of these resonates with you. In fact, I'd love for you to tell me in the comments which one resonates the most. There's fear of failure. That's the most obvious one. That's the one we typically always think that it's about when we are moving towards a goal and not actually making any progress. We get stuck, we get paralyzed because that's what fear does, right? It keeps us from moving forward. There's the opposite, fear of success. There's a lot of pressure with success. Then there's fear of disapproval. This is my core fear. This is fear of rejection. And I have spent a lifetime moving through it because if I don't, it has a tendency to get me stuck. And then there's fear of losing control. That is fear of uncertainty. You want to know exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, who it's going to happen with, or you're not ready to move forward. So, which one of those feels like a core fear for you? Here's the thing we have to remember fear is inevitable when you step outside of your comfort zone, but it's not necessarily a stop sign. And
And so I'm gonna pause it right there. I'm actually gonna stop it right there. All right, I wanted to bring that in just to have a another voice on it because, like I said, guys, I am not an expert on this thing, but I have learned through a lot of my own struggles that when we're forced out of our comfort zone and we have to go into transition, a lot of people don't for various reasons, but most times it's fear. Fear of the unknown is the one that trips most people up, the uncertainty, and it makes them anxious. It makes them skittish. It makes them stuck. Fear of rejection. That was that's probably my biggest one. I don't really care about the uncertainty. It'll be what it'll be. But I've always felt rejected. Well, not always. Let me rephrase. Let me start reprogramming some of my own language. As a child, I felt rejected. And because I felt rejected as a child, I moved through life not wanting to disappoint people, which is why my love language is acts of service. Because if I'm in a space that I want to be in, then I'm going to do a little bit more work on the front end. I'm going to do a little bit more work in the middle. I'm going to do a little bit more work on the back end. I'm going to sacrifice. I'm going to give more because I value this space that I'm in. Now, if I don't want to be there, oh hell. It's gonna be real obvious, real apparent that I have no interest. I don't want no parts of it. But it's for me, it's the fear of rejection. I'm not sure if you've identified yours, but in the if you've identified, yeah, I don't want you to even say what you are, what yours is. Matter of fact, yeah, do. What's your fear? Is it rejection? Is it success? Is it uncertainty? Is it failure? Did I say it already? I'm not sure if I said it already. But failure, success, rejection, and uncertainty. Those are the four fears. And those are the fears that we have to really contend with before we can truly get to where we want to get in life. Because it's always going to come back down to, did I do a thing? So identifying your fears is one. So how do you start doing that? You identify or you challenge the negative thoughts. So I'm a little thrown off today, which you probably can already tell that because there's so many moving pieces and so many things. Today is a very big day. I have a lot of important things to do today. And so my mind isn't completely focused on the show this morning, but I need the show this morning because sometimes I need to work through my stuff. I need what I'm talking to y'all about. I'm go through it every day. I go through it every day. And then I hate when I see people having struggles. D Rob says failure. Toronto Reagan says failure, uncertainty. K says heavy on uncertainty. Rejection is a 50-50 and more related to entrepreneurship. I feel that. That Yale says failure and uncertainty. And so the reason that I think it's it carries the weight that it does is that we have these negative thoughts about it. You know, what will this person say about me? What happens if I don't succeed? Monique says a little of all sometimes. Yeah. What happens if I fail? What happens if they know, if they find out? For whatever reason, those fears keep us bound, they keep us locked up. And regardless of the fear, the answer is the same. And it's really a three-step process. It is challenging your negative thought with its opposite, visualizing the success that you want, and then taking small steps. So if you wanted a four tips on how to conquer fear, one, identify the fear. Two, challenge the negative thoughts. Three, visualize the success. And four, take small steps. Those are the four steps that I use to get me across whatever hurdle I need to get across, when I need to get over myself, when I need to get out of my head. Identify the fear. I have a fear of not being enough. I have a fear of not uh, being valued. I have a fear of whatever your fear might be. Challenge those negative thoughts. What if I fail? Then I fail. Then I do it again. Everybody fails. I'm not the only one. I'm not the first to fail. I'm not the last to fail. I'm going to fail until I get it right. Failure is not the end. Quitting is the end. Losing is not a failure. Losing is learning. Challenge those negative thoughts. Give yourself those motivational talks. Give yourself the space to argue with yourself. When that negative thought pops up, say, oh, no, you didn't. Hey, bruh, you better, girl, you fine as frog hair. Y'all know what the old school guys used to say. Girl, you so fine, I drink your bath water. I'm feeling ugly today. No, no. Hey, my pockets may be a little light today. Give me, look, but it's gonna change real quick. I'm about to get on my grind. I'm about to go do this. I'm about to go hard. Challenge the negative thoughts as often as you can. Anytime a negative thought come up, say the opposite. I suck. I'm amazing. I feel ugly today. I look gorgeous today. Whatever the thought is, say the opposite of it. Say the opposite of it. Then visualize your success. Sometimes you have to sit back. I used to do this a lot. Let me adjust my camera a little bit. I used to do this a lot. When I was, Toronto says, yep, I talk to myself to keep me together. That's it. You have to. I remember when I was going through that period when the job was changing and now the money that I'm making is not enough anymore. Like I said, I was making good money on that job. I was making good money on that job, but now I'm not. I'm married. I have 3 children. Didn't know I was about to have the fourth one on the way. Oh man, yeah. See, life, man, it'll throw some stuff at you, and I didn't realize where I was and what was about to happen to me. And I would go to my work, and this is when I had just stopped doing the quick start business, so that money was gone. So my life was in so much flux that I couldn't see straight. But the one thing that I was doing, I was still reading some of those books. I was still watching some of those motivational videos. And all the guys would always they were always saying, "Hey man, you gotta if you want to have it, you gotta see it." So I would put my arms back behind my head and I would just sit at my desk and I would just rock in my little chair. And I would do it for 30, 40 minutes at a time. People would come to my office and they would say, "Oh man, you on your lunch break or something? Ain't you supposed to be working?" I'm just like, "Bro, leave me alone." And they would see my face and they'd be like, "Okay, he something going on. Leave him alone, leave him alone." And I would just sit there and I would just think about what I wanted. Well, the first 10 minutes, to be honest with you, the first 10 minutes I thought about where I was. How did I get here? Lord, why me? And I was doing all that, going down that rabbit hole, feeling sorry for myself. But then I would start to remember that nothing is gonna get solved if I keep staying in this tone. And that if I stay in this mode, nothing is going to change. So then I started thinking about, well, what do I actually want? What upset me so much that I can't, fix? What can I do to get myself out of this? Or what can I do to get myself out of this situation? So what do I want? What's the primary concern? All right, the primary concern is I need X amount of dollars to make to take care of the family. Okay, so how do I make that? Okay, well, I got these options. I can go do this, I can do that. And I start doing that. And then the last 15, 20 minutes, I stopped focusing on what I could do and I started looking at the results of what I wanted. Now, this is a visualization process, and it happens to everybody. You may not track it the way I learned to track it, but it started out in the negative side. I would always see the things that I didn't want. And then I start thinking about strategies to get what I want. Then at the end, I would start actually seeing me having the results of what I wanted. And the thing that I noticed is when I started seeing the results of what I wanted, I felt better. Focusing on where I was depressing. Trying to figure out strategies to get me out of that situation was tiresome and it was work. But when I focused on the results that I wanted, when I could see myself sitting in a comfortable home, see myself playing with my children, see myself happy to go off to do a career that I love doing, or in a have my happy marriage, or when I could see myself having the results, that's when I actually felt better. And so what I'm learning to do now is do that first. Because if you have a negative mindset and you trying to figure out solutions with a negative mindset in a depressed state, you're just going to get more of the same. Your thoughts are going to be bad. Your plans may be sound, but they're being created out of a negative space. So they're not going to be good. And then it's going to be too much work. Going to feel like too much work. But if you start visualizing what you want, if you want a family, it's seeing the family. And I don't mean seeing their actual faces, but I mean you sitting at the table and you passing the peas ill. Throw them peas right to the trash can. But I don't want no peas. Why I say that for? I don't know. But you reading your kids a bedtime story at night. You waking up next to the person of your dreams. You sitting in a car and the seats feel like butter as you sit into them. I mean, whatever it is for you, picture those things, and it'll make you feel better. You start to visualize, because that's what success is at the end of the day. It's a life that we're happy with. For some of us, it's income. For some of us, it's family. Success is not the same across the board for everybody. And out of that space, out of that heart, that's when you go ahead and you that's when you go ahead and you start creating your marching orders. Monique says, mix them peas with mashed potatoes and butter. Look, I don't look, I can I can stomach a lot of things. I can I can drink some stuff. Some of the most tart, the most strongest. I tell people, man, I used to get drinking rubbing alcohol, if I didn't think it would kill me. Cause it's like I don't really most things don't bother me. But them doggone green peas, they create an instant urge to vomit. I don't know why. It's not. I don't even think it's a texture. It's not texture. It's just like the aroma of it gets in my nostrils, and it's just like, I can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. My mom used to make me sit at the kitchen table 30, 40 minutes. Plate is clean. I done basically licked the whole plate, but them peas still sitting there. Well, you ain't getting up to eat your greens. I'm just like, well, I ain't getting up then. And then I go give me a paper towel, wipe my hands, and I put some peas in my mouth, and I'm just like, put them in a paper towel, and I'm like, then I get through all of I'm like, I'm finished. She's like, all right, throw your plate away. Now bring that napkin to me. I'm just like, oh man, I would take a butt whooping before I would eat green peas. It's just something about them. Now, the only two things that I found that I would eat cheese again. I'm allergic to cheese for those y'all who didn't know. And not lactose, like literally allergic to cheese. Hives, everything. Anaphylactic shock. Cheese. I don't know why cheese, but because I eat ice cream still. But cheese, cheese might take me about here. But I would take a butt whooping before I would eat. I would eat cheese before I would eat green peas. Now, black eyed peas, that's my joint right there. Yo, wifey made some for New Year's. I think those are the best black eyed peas I've ever eaten. I promise you. Oh, look at Monique being a little racist. You don't like the black eyed peas, Monique? You like them Incredible Hulk peas though. Kay says, man, cube steak and gravy with some. Oh, okay. See, I thought you was talking about something, Kay. Cube steak, gravy, some mashed potatoes. Yeah, you can keep them peas. Wow, Toronto Riggins too. Man, y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. Black eyed peas is where it at. And if you really old school, if you really old school, you get you some black eyed peas, a little fat back, or some neck bones, or some turkey neck, or turkey wings. Bruh, it's a delicacy. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh dang, your pop started that. You know what? Maybe I should start it about green peas. You hear that, babe? No more green peas. They are banned from the Glover household. Green peas are banned from the Glover household. I decree it. Therefore, it is so. Oh man, the homemade biscuits. Wait a minute. Uh, you make homemade biscuits like from scratch, like with the flour and the sifter, and you can do that. Oh man. Oh man. So yeah, anyway, so visualizing success. But and so the irony of this whole thing, this conversation we're having right now, I know it seems random, but the whole food conversation, my the only thing that gave me the family feel, the only thing that made me tied close was breakfast. My mom would get up every Sunday morning and she would make homemade biscuits from scratch. She would make the eggs, the bacon, the sausage. It was always at least two, maybe three meats. Sometimes fried apples, jelly, syrup, molasses on the table. And that was the one time that I felt like family. And so my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, we all sitting at the table and we're eating, we're talking. My dad will be playing gospel music on the radio, whatever the local AM station was. My mama's cooking, and just the smell of food in the air, it would wake me up. I would wake up every Sunday morning like, "Mm." I hurry up and go brush my teeth, throw my clothes on, and I'm running to the kitchen table. Running to the kitchen table. And that's a happy place for me. That's a happy memory for me. I know where you hold on. Maybe I'm a little late on that one. I know what I'm bringing for Thanksgiving now. Oh, so you can, but Mo is better. Mo make the homemade biscuits. Okay, okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. Stick to you be doing those sweet potatoes though. Toronto Riggins, I'm gonna put you in timeout. I'm gonna put you in timeout because molasses is everything. It is everything. Every matter of fact, everything. When I got some biscuits and some molasses and I can sop them jokers, old folks said sop it. You know what? Maybe the way to a man's heart is his stomach. Because this whole conversation turned into food right now. Oh, I know what I was saying about it now. But that was one of the happiest times of my life. The happiest times of my life. And I think largely one of the biggest failures in my first marriage was that I was trying to recreate that family with someone who didn't share those same values. Take a black card. Hey, I don't know, man. Ah, mm. I got you. There's a remedy for that. I like the thickness of it though. I like thick stuff. So hey, shout out to my baby. I like thickness. I like darkness, right? That's kind of how I like my coffee too. But old school now, take some butter, put butter in the middle of it, heat it up. The butter changes the texture and the taste slightly. It makes it more creamy. So just a little pro tip. Pro tip. I can do it either way. My dad always did it with the butter. I did it plain. I'll drink it straight out the jar. Maybe not drink it. That might be a little bit of a stretch. Sound like a future topic. But yeah, so I think that was probably one of the failures in my first marriage was that was family for me. That was the feeling that I brought along of family. And that feeling wasn't shared. And so there was always a disconnect. There was always an argument. There was always something because I couldn't recreate that feeling. And then she had her feeling of what family was, and I couldn't recreate that. So we spent many years So we spent many years going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, which also created another transition point. But it's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about how to get past those fears. And we talked about identifying the fears. We talked about challenging negative thoughts. We also talked about visualization process. If you look at athletes or entertainers, they will all tell you that they had to visualize what they wanted. Jim Carrey saw himself winning awards and making millions of dollars when he was dead broke. He wrote himself a check for, I think it was either $5 or $10 million, and said, and he actually dated his though. By this day, I will do this. And he wrote that check and he put it in his wallet. He would take it out. He would look at it from time to time as he was doing new job, taking on new roles and new jobs. And then the same year that check was to expire or to be cashed, he signed for Dumb and Dumber, and he made his millions of dollars. But with the visualization process, the fourth step is taking small steps. Break down your goals into smaller, more manageable tasks or actions. Gradually expose yourself to situations that trigger your fear, starting with the smallest step and gradually increasing the level of difficulty. Meaning, you know what your fear is. So if you have a fear of swimming, all right, I'm going to learn to swim. However, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to learn to float. So I'm going to go to the kiddie pool. I'm going to go to the 3 feet and I'm going to put this life jacket on and I'm going to just get in the water and I'm going to just float for as long as I can. Then the next time, I'm gonna get an instructor or get an instructor first or whatever. However, whatever step you want to take, you can do it. Then I'm gonna come out the jacket. And then I'm gonna wear the jacket in the 6 foot. And then I'm gonna come out the jacket. Just whatever. But it's taking small steps, gaining momentum. Remember we talked about momentum? Gaining momentum. Toronto Rigger said, bro, thanks for the tip, but I'll have to puke all over the place. Now you know what? I'll make sure you got some jelly or something or some syrup or something. We'll keep the molasses on my side of the table then. How about that? And no, boo, I do not need no biscuits, but I can talk about them. I can talk about them because my mom, she gonna show me how to make them. I've been asking for a few years, but then she said, if I teach you how to make them, then you ain't gonna need me. So she ain't taught me yet. But I feel like she gonna teach me now. She said she would anyway. Oh man. But yeah, taking small steps, creating momentum, conquering those fears. And the thing that I found out is the more you go out to conquer the fear, the more your intention is to get past whatever this thing is, the more opportunities you have to do it. It's really the law of attraction. Energy goes where attention flows. Whatever you put your mind on doing, grape jelly, thank you. Whatever you put your mind on, that's where your attention on, your energy do it. You see those things better. Just like the first time you buy a car or you buy a new car or a new color, then all of a sudden now you see that color everywhere or you see that car all over the place now. But because your mind wasn't on it, you had no connection to that car, you never saw it before. That's the power of attention. What you focus on grows. And so if you focus on the negative stuff, if you focus on how bad it is and how bad it's going to be, then you're going to keep finding bad things in it. Because remember, we don't see the world as it is, we see it as we are. And so, whatever headspace we're in, that's how we're going to see and perceive the world. Two people can see the same problem. One person is going to see the problem, another person is going to see the solution. Be the person that sees the solution. Be the person that sees the solution. How do you do that? You identify your fears and you start conquering them step by step. See yourself conquering it step by step, piece by piece. If you have a fear of uncertainty, go do it anyway. Now, at least now you know, right? You won't know until you try. What if I fail? Then you learn how not to do it next time. What if I succeed but then can't maintain it? Well, then guess what? You know how to succeed next time, and now you'll learn how to make. You'll learn what you did if not to maintain. Now you know not to do that again. What if they tell me no? It's a numbers game. Somebody, it's a yes waiting on you. There's always a yes waiting on you. Always. If they say no, they wasn't for you. That opportunity wasn't for you. I tell my children, go out there and just fail. Have fun. Have fail parties. Fail as fast as you can because life truly is a numbers game. The faster you fail, the faster you get the results that you want. Because in every failure, you're learning something. Or at least you should if you're paying attention. You should be learning something. And it's that learning that's going to get you to the success, to the life that you want. Because every loss truly is a lesson. That's why the pros watch film. They go back and look at game footage. Even whether they won or they lost, they look at the game footage. What did we do right? What did we do wrong? Oh man, what could have we done different? Ah, okay, there was a bad call here. I should have went out when I went instead of going in. Okay, bet. Even down to the science of when a receiver's on the line, the defensive back, he don't know where the ball's going. So he has to study the receivers. When they pivot too far this way, or when you see that ankle drop, they finna do they're about to cross me over. So I need to keep outside leverage. Or when he makes that step out, he's really going in. So it's like studying how did I lose? How did I succeed? And repeating how you did to succeed. Remembering what you did to fail and flipping that switch. And when you start doing that, you start having less fear. When you start challenging those negative thoughts, you start to become more bolder with yourself. Matter of fact, you be talking to yourself and be laughing in public, and people be looking like, "What is wrong with this person?" I'm just happy, man. I just heard some BS. Oh, word, yeah, man, heard some BS. Psst. Talking about some. I feel ugly today. You got to be out of your rabbit ass mind. I look good, especially if you done what you need to do to make yourself look good, but you still feel that way. It's just a feeling. It might be some nerves, some anxiety, based off some judgment you think people gonna have. Just show up with your best self and you good. You do this. D Rob said, I'm waiting on my yes. I've recently learned family can cross you just like friends can. Yes, Monique says, it's the most hurtful thing, but you will get through it. Learn, grow, and let go. That, bro, let me I can't be super transparent on this one. However, I will say this. Your greatest hurts can only come from people that you love, people that you let in. Those where your greatest hurts will come from. Strangers, you expect them to do you dirty. Friends, you kind of like, I trust you, but self-preservation is a real thing. But the family, you hold family in a little bit higher esteem. But inevitably, Loyalties will be tested. Boundaries will be crossed. And the thing that makes you family, no matter what happens, well, maybe not whatever, but family hurts family a lot. But at the end of the day, it's still family. I got some scars for family, but when I see them, I don't forget what happened. I forgive them mostly. Actually, I forgive everybody for the most part that I can think of. I'm sure somebody out there I ain't quite forgave yet, but for the most part, I forgive everybody because one, I don't want to hold that stuff in. Forgiveness is not so much for them as it is for me. This is a whole show on forgiveness I was gonna do, but I'll shortcut it now. Forgiveness is for me. It's for you. It's not so much for the other person. Forgiving them kind of lets them off the hook. So most people don't want to do it. So they want to hold it in. But all that bitterness, all that hate, that anger, it affects your body's chemistry. It'll make you sick. It'll make you sick. So when you forgive people, you forgive, you know who they are now. So you handle them accordingly. But people are who they are. People are who they are. I got family members right now that had some friends done what they done. Man, don't ever darken my door. However, I got some family. When I see them coming, I just shake my head. I'm like, all right, come on in. But that's life. You know, there's a reason why you have CEOs of companies and presidents, and they all have spouses. You don't really see many single people holding those positions in those public offices and things like that. Because if you can get along with a spouse, you can run a company. Because the hardest two jobs you will ever have is being married and running a business. Because you never get a day off and there's always something to do. And I'm not saying that in a negative connotation, even though it may sound like it. But those are the only two things you can never leave alone. Your company, you have to work that company for years, every day. There's no time off to make it grow. A relationship, you have to be all in for years. You got your ups and your downs, you got your betrayals, you got your lies, you got all of this stuff. But guess what? No matter where you go, you're gonna get the same thing. So you have to learn the hardest two things to do are those two. And if you can be successfully married, or at least in a long-term relationship with people, you can run a you can run a country. You can run a company. People trust you to do that because everybody know it's a fraternity. If you're married, you know, hey man, I feel you. Man, let me tell you about this chick, man. Bruh, look, bruh. Look, this is what you need to do. Go go outside and cut the grass. Just walk around the house, act like you're cutting the grass. Breathe. Just let's let it go. Anytime she starts tripping, go do some work. Ladies, girl, let me tell you, these doggone men. Where you going? I'm going home, baby. I gotta cook. My man be home by 7:30. You still cook for your man? Yeah. When I cook, he's happy. I like a happy husband. It's a fraternity. We understand each other, right? We understand each other. Rick said, D, get you some not today Joe spray without the pause. Statue yesterday, we might be having a moment, but let them call, say something happened. I'm in the car rolling out. That's it. That is it. That is it. Trauma, drama, family, it all goes together. It all goes together because when people are comfortable with you, you see who they really are, and you get a chance to love them for who they really are. And especially if you grew up with them, you know who they are. And so you let them be them. You know, you don't fought with them for years trying to change them, but then one day you realize this is who this person is. So yeah, I know I can be this, I can be that. You know, my brother and my sister, they tolerate me. And as time has gone on, they've learned to appreciate me. And the same for them. I tolerated them early on, but now I appreciate them. But it's all love. It is all love. I understand who they are. They understand who I am, and we let each other live. We celebrate each other now. But that's life, D. That's life, bro. Life's gonna be what life is. So the best thing you can do is be intentional about what you want from life. You go out there and you work, you make create networks, you grow, you add value to yourself, you become the best man that you can be. And even then you still gonna have challenges because challenges don't go anywhere. New levels, new devils, right? But the more confidence you have in yourself, the more for me you are with conquering your fears. Because the fears never go anywhere either. They never go anywhere. And you'll bust your butt to get to this comfort zone, place where you feel good, you accomplished. But guess what? Change is coming. So keep your head on the swivel. Yep. Go outside, fake cutting grass, and talk to yourself. Yeah. You won't catch me outside cutting a whole lot of grass. Um, Allergy, man. I'll be choked up for a while. I used to, but I ain't never like cutting grass anyway. But what I will say on a closing note, in life we do what we must, but so often we only have to is because we didn't do what we should have done. We stop because of fear. We stop because we were in our feelings and we wasn't willing to conquer. We wasn't willing to go through to get through in that moment. And then at some point, it got serious enough to where now life put a clock on it. Now you have to do it. Having to do a thing is never as good as just doing the thing. Pressure bursts pipes, but it also makes diamonds. So whatever you do, don't quit, don't give up, keep going. You are strong, you are capable, you are surrounded by love and affection, whether you realize it or not. There's always a positive force around us that's trying to nudge us in the right direction, sending people in our path, sending opportunities. And just because a door doesn't open right now doesn't mean it's closed forever. Sometimes it means that we need to grow. We need to become a better version. We need to get more knowledge, more wisdom, more understanding before that door opens. Because if that door opens and you're not ready for what's behind it, it could take you out. So just trust that all things happen in the time that it's supposed to happen. And only you can speed up or slow down that process by how much you are taking control over your life, your emotions, your reactions, your growth. So this is what personal development is all about. Taking accountability for what you've done, what you do, and responsibility for fixing it or growing more. That's what the journey is all about. So thank you for your time today, ladies and gentlemen. Really appreciate you for being here. All the participation, all the chat comments. You guys are amazing. I really enjoy being with you guys in the morning. Some days are a little tougher than others, but y'all see I done shook off what I woke up with now. I feel good. I feel like myself now. Now I'm ready to go out and conquer the world because that's what we do at Morning Motivation. We build community. We expand our thoughts. and we become the best versions of ourselves. So, on that note, we getting ready to get up out of here, guys. Y'all have a great day. Y'all be blessed. Y'all live a life worth living, and never be afraid to chase your dreams. Never be afraid and stop. It's okay to be afraid, but keep going.
Stop the cap.
Wrong button. This is what I wanted. Y'all be blessed. Peace.